Romans 11:24. So I say, have Israel stumbled so as to fall to spiritual ruin? Certainly not, but by their transgression, their rejection of the Messiah, salvation has come to the Gentiles, to make Israel jealous when they realize what they have forfeited. Now if Israel's transgression means riches for the world at large, and their failure means riches for the Gentiles, how much more will their fulfillment and reinstatement be? But now I am speaking to you who are Gentiles. Inasmuch then as I am an apostle to the Gentiles, I magnify my ministry in the hope of somehow making my fellow countrymen jealous, by stirring them up so that they will seek the truth, and perhaps save some of them. For if their present rejection of salvation is for the reconciliation of the world to God, what will their acceptance of salvation be but nothing less than life from the dead? If the first portion of dough offered as the first fruits is holy, so is the whole batch. And if the root, Abraham the patriarchs, is holy, so are the branches, the Israelites. But if some of the branches were broken off, and you, Gentiles, being like a wild olive shoot, were grafted in among them to share with them the rich root of the olive tree, do not boast over the broken branches and exalt yourself at their expense. If you do boast and feel superior, remember that it is not you who supports the root, but the root that supports you. You will say then, branches were broken off so that I might be grafted in. That is true. They were broken off because of their unbelief. But you stand by your faith, as believers understanding the truth of Christ's deity. Do not be conceited, but rather stand in great awe of God and fear Him. For if God did not spare the natural branches because of unbelief, He will not spare you either. Then appreciate the gracious kindness and the severity of God to those who fell into spiritual ruin. Severity, but to you, God's gracious kindness, if you continue in His kindness, by faith and obedience to Him. Otherwise you too will be cut off. And even they, the unbelieving Jews, if they do not continue in their unbelief, will be grafted in. For God has the power to graft them in again. For if you were cut off from what is by nature a wild olive tree, and against nature were grafted into a cultivated olive tree, how much easier will it be to graft these who are the natural branches back into the original parent stock by their own olive tree?